want to bring in our Elections and Surveys Executive Director, Anthony Salvanto. Everyone should know by now that I love it when Anthony comes in because I just like seeing the numbers the way that they are, right? Without any sort of extra stuff. The numbers often can tell the story as long as you have good analysis. So what did we learn about the group supporting Trump and Haley?
Thank you, and great to be here, as always. Here's what we learned, and this is the map. Okay, there's a lot of towns here that are in the Trump shade of red on this. But when you actually look at the groups, I want to show you a couple of things. One is demographic, and one is attitudinal. So speaking of analysis, let's break it down this way. I'm going to point to this one to start. Republicans, which Trump won, and he said this in his post-election speech, he won by 3-1. And this is important because, yes, in New Hampshire, we talk a lot about the independents who vote, and I'll talk about them in a minute, but it's still a Republican primary. And going forward, it's a Republican primary. So this is important because it tells you the story that the Republican Party, defined by people who consider themselves as, in an identity way, are still so much behind him. And as the pundits say, it's his party.
Yes.
This is the numbers that sort of put the underline to that. And then there's this attitudinally very quick. People who think Joe Biden didn't win in 2020. We've talked a lot about them buying that narrative, that false claim, but overwhelmingly for Trump. And then wants a candidate who fights for them. We've talked about that personal connection, that feeling of giving voice to people who feel disaffected. All of that is important going forward because it also helps us define where the GOP is right now.
That's really interesting. You hear Donald Trump say about his court cases, they're not going after me, they're going after you. I'm doing this for you. So that messaging of I'm fighting for you, that's really landing, obviously. What did our exit polls tell us about the issues that are top of mind for voters? Okay,
so let's focus now on the ones who did go for Nikki Haley, because it'll speak to your question. I'll point to this one right here, number 3. Foreign policy was most important. She emphasized that on the campaign trail, right? The idea that Donald Trump would not be fit to serve if convicted of a crime. This speaks to that, and it's not the majority of Republicans right now, but this speaks to a lot of those independents, and to the degree that there are never Trump or not Trump Republicans in there who take the other side of that issue, saying that he wouldn't be fit. That went very strong for Haley. And then the other idea, wanting a candidate with the right temperament, because she said that on the campaign trail too. But this was really bolstered by those independents who do come in, and then people take that and read toward the general election and say, okay, we know Donald Trump has the Republican base, but how does he do, how would he do among the wider electorate? New Hampshire kind of sets up as that sort of a test. And it's somewhat of a rare test in the wider range of primaries coming up, but an important one nonetheless.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, New Hampshire has value, even though some people may say, oh, it's not reflective of the greater population. But the fact that these undeclared have an opportunity to cast a ballot gives us a little idea of what those undecided, once we reach the general election, the way they may feel about the candidate. But it's a long way before we get there. We got to get through South Carolina. So what can we expect?
Okay, so let's look at this. We're going to get to South Carolina, and then I'm going to show you the map, which would be Super Tuesday. South Carolina, of course, Nikki Haley's home state, so that'll come up, and we'll watch that. And then if there's a fight going forward from there, the Super Tuesday states are a varied mix, but look at the amount of southern states here, from Texas to Alabama, et cetera. And that speaks to, again, a Republican Party where you're going to have a lot of people who call themselves conservative, often are going to be further to the right than, if not the whole party, than the country. Those are places where you might expect Donald Trump to really start to pick up delegates. So, the fight going forward, we'll see. Nikki Haley will probably focus on places, I don't know, like Colorado, maybe Minnesota, things like that, if you start to game it out.
Really interesting. Anthony, always great having you here. Thank you.
Thanks.